Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Sunday, January 30th, and this is the NBA DFS video for today. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a quick little recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, talking about the injuries in play for tonight's slate. It is a 5-game main slate, I do believe, and then we got a couple afternoon games too. So if you're playing the early slate, there's like 3 games on that slate as well. And then I'll be going over my picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings as well. So without further ado, we're going to start off with a recap of yesterday's picks. So we're going to start off on the DraftKings side. Point guard went with Devonta Graham. $5,200 looking for 26 points out. He got to 18.25. He ended up being a mess yesterday. 28 minutes, only 3 for 11 shooting from the field. Just not the greatest day for him or many of the Pelicans yesterday, so kind of unfortunate there. Then in shooting guard, we had Klay Thompson, $5,500 looking for 27.28 points out. He got to 31.5, so he was a hit. Jimmy Butler at small forward, $8,600, looking for 43 points out. He got 82. This game did go into triple overtime, so that definitely helped him out quite a bit. But, he would have been a hit in regulation regardless. So Jimmy Butler, very, very good play yesterday. Then in power forward, stuck with Herbert Jones, $4,900, looked a little bit better, with some of those pieces missing for the Pelicans. But once again, the Pelicans team did not play very well overall. He got to 22.5, so he was a miss. And then Willie Hernan-Gomez, who is on a monster tear as of late, $5,100 was in that starting lineup once again. Looking for 26 points out. Got to 21.25. He was a mess. He just didn't get the rebounds yesterday, honestly. Josh Hart took away all the rebounds, so kind of unfortunate there, but it is what it is at that point in time. He's a guy that had like 66% ownership in GPPs too, so a good majority of the field was actually playing him. So, the down game didn't really hurt that bad overall. Then on the FanDuel side, we had Tyrese Maxey. $6,000 looking for 30 points out. He got 26.9. He's a miss. He just didn't quite get there yesterday. Kind of unfortunate, but he's not a guy that completely killed you overall. Then it's shooting guard. We had Josh Hart, $6,700 looking for 34 points out. He got to 34.6, so he was a hit. As I mentioned earlier, he got a ton of rebounds yesterday. Then in small forward, we had Jimmy Butler once again, $8,700 looking for 44 points out. He got to 78.8. Obviously, triple overtime helped him once again. And then somebody else that got helped out by the triple overtime game was Scotty Barnes, $6,300, looking for 32 points time. He got to 37.3, so he was ahead as well. And then last but not least, we have Willie Hernan-Gomez once again, $5,100, was looking for that 26 points time. He got to 19 on the FanDuel side. So a little bit of a hit or miss day on both sites, but both sites were still very profitable, mainly because of Jimmy Butler being so awesome yesterday. But pretty solid day all around. I did have a little bit of exposure to Tyrese Halliburton here and there between the two sites too, so that definitely helped out quite a bit as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over into the injuries and play for today's slate. So I am going to do a quick little rundown on the afternoon slate real quick, at least in terms of injuries. So the Los Angeles Lakers are without LeBron James once again, and then Kendrick Nunn. Anthony Davis is listed as questionable. I do assume that he will play tonight. And then Russell Westbrook and Malik Monk both listed as probable at this point in time. For the Atlanta Hawks, DeAndre Hunter and Trae Young both listed as questionable, so we'll see if they play tonight or not. Obviously, if Trae Young does not end up playing, that's kind of a big difference for this Atlanta Hawks team overall. That could open up a little bit of value, especially in the form of a DeLon Wright. Then for the Clippers, they're without Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Jay Preston, and then Nick Batum listed as questionable. Looks like they should have Marcus Morris back tonight, though, so that's something of note at the very least. Then for the Charlotte Hornets, they're without Gordon Hayward and Jalen McDaniels, and then Kelly Oubre listed as questionable with his ankle injury. For the Portland Trailblazers, C.J. Elleby, Damian Lillard, Nazir Little, Larry Nance, and Cody Zeller all out once again. And then Dennis Smith Jr., Norman Powell, and Robert Covington all listed as probable and expected to play tonight. And then for the Chicago Bulls, they were without Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, Derrick Jones, and Patrick Williams, so no changes at all there. So that's a pretty quick little rundown on the afternoon. We'll get moved over to the main slate now. So the Cleveland Cavaliers are without Lauri Markkanen once again. Detroit Pistons are without Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Livers, and Kelly Olynyk. And then Josh Jackson listed as questionable once again. Do believe it's probably the same back injury that he was listed as questionable the last time. He did play in that game, so I will assume that he does play tonight. For the Denver Nuggets, they're without Cam Carr, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter, which no real changes there. And then they have DeMarcus Cousins and Will Barton, both listed as probable to play tonight. For the Milwaukee Bucks, they're without Brook Lopez once again. George Hill is doubtful for tonight's game, and then Rodney Hood listed as probable. So the Dallas Mavericks are without Sterling Brown, Tim Hardaway. Porzingis is listed as out here, but they have the gray next to him, so I assume he's questionable at this point in time, but I also do assume that he will not be playing tonight either way. So making Maxi Kleber looking like a lot better play, as we did see last night. For the Orlando Magic, they're without Michael Carter-Williams, Markelle Fultz, R.J. Hampton, Jonathan Isaac, and Etuan Moore, so no changes there. For the Utah Jazz, Rudy Gobert is out, and then Donovan Mitchell and Trent Forrest both listed as questionable to play. Mitchell missed the last game, and Forrest ended up playing in that game. Then for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Patrick Beverley, Josh Okogie, and D'Angelo Russell. All this is questionable. We'll see if Beverley and Russell are back tonight or not. Obviously, if they're not, going to open up a little bit of value at that guard position once again tonight. And then last but not least, we get down to maybe one of the biggest value spots on the entire slate in the San Antonio Spurs. Keta Bates-Diop, DeJounte Murray, Jakob Poeltl, and Derek White are all out tonight. So going to be looking at some Trey Jones playing some point guard. See if Lonnie Walker, Devin Vassell, we'll see if one of them is in the starting lineup. Or it could be like a Josh Primo, who's we've seen start a little bit this year. But, Keldon Johnson's going to look pretty good. Obviously, Jock Landale or Drew Eubanks, whoever ends up starting for Jakob Poeltl, is going to look like a pretty good value as well. Then for the Phoenix Suns, they were without Frank Kaminsky, Abdul Nader, Campaign, Dario Saric, and then DeAndre Ayton, Jay Crowder, and JaVale McGee all listed as questionable at this point in time, so we'll see who's back out of that trio tonight. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries in play for tonight's slate. There's actually quite a few that we're going to be looking at today. I'll try to post injury updates here and there throughout the day. I have a couple other things going on today, but I'll try to get as much of that out there as possible if I'm able to do so. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So we're going to start off at the point guard position. We got Trey Jones. This one was a pretty easy one as he's the only real point guard left for the Spurs. He's $3,000, flat minimum. Got him projected for 24 points tonight. You're only looking for 15 out of him. So if you get 24 or more, he's going to look like a very good value on tonight's slate. Heck, you could pretty much play like all the Spurs on tonight's slate if you really wanted to do so. Speaking of that, we have Devin Vassell at shooting guard, $4,100, looking for 21 points on him, averaging 22.5 essentially on the season. So even if he just does what he typically does on average this season, going to look pretty good. Has a little bit of upside for more in tonight's game as well. Then small forward, going right back to Franz Wagner, $5,700, looking for 29 points on him. Currently I'm projected for 29 points, just shy of that on the season, so looking like a pretty good value once again tonight. Then power forward, you got to go with Keldon Johnson for the Spurs. He is essentially their best player left tonight. $5,400, looking for 27 points out. Currently having projected for about 30 points tonight. Then last but not least, at the center position, I went with Maxi Kleber, $3,700, looking for 19 points out, averaging 20 points on the season, assuming no Kristaps Porzingis once again tonight. Currently having projected for 24 points, but he definitely has some upside for more as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players on the DraftKings side, you have $28,100 remaining. Just over $9,300 per player. You can definitely pay up for a stud, maybe even 2 studs on tonight's slate. Not sure you can pay up for Giannis and Jokic, but you could probably pay up for one of those 2 and then maybe like a Luka Doncic or somebody a little bit lower down from there as well. Or if you really, really want to, you could take a little bit more balanced approach as well. Not that many guys right around that $9,300 price range though, so you kind of want to go up a little bit, kind of go down a little bit. Probably the best way to do it, at least on tonight's slate. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there as well. So we're going to go right back to the point guard position. We're going right back to Trey Jones. A little bit more expensive on the FanDuel side. Apparently they've seen this coming because he's at $4,100. So we need to get at least 21 points out of him. Currently I have projected for 24 points once again tonight, but definitely has some upside for more. At shooting guard, we're going Jalen Brunson, $5,600, looking for 28 points out, averaging 30 on the season. Currently having projected for 31 points tonight. Assuming Kristaps Porzingis is not playing, should help out Jalen Brunson just a little bit as well. Then a small forward, we're going back to Keldon Johnson, $5,900, looking for 30 points out. Essentially, that's what I got him projected for tonight, and he definitely has some upside for more as well. Power forward, we're going right back to Maxi Kleber, $4,200, looking for 21 points out. Currently, I'm projected for 24 points tonight, but he definitely has some upside for more, especially if Kristaps Porzingis misses this game. Then last but not least, at the center position, there's really 2 ways you could do this today. You can pay up for Nikola Jokic, or you can pay all the way down, or essentially all the way down, to Jock Landale, or Drew Eubanks, whoever ends up starting at that center position for the San Antonio Spurs. At this point in time, I do have Jock Landale there, $3,600, looking for 18 points out. He did start the one game earlier this year for Jakob Poeltl, and he played pretty well in that game. Currently having projected for 22 points, has a little bit upside for more as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players on the FanDuel side, you have $36,600 remaining, just over $9,100 per player, so you can definitely pay up for 2 studs on tonight's slate. If you really, really want to play Jokic over Landale, that's perfectly fine as well. Otherwise, you can pay up for like a Giannis, you can pay up for a Luka, and then kind of build the rest of your lineup around that as well. But with that being said, these are my picks for FanDuel and DraftKings for today, January 30th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's on FanDuel or DraftKings. Heck, we can talk a little bit of Super Draft if you want to talk a little bit of Super Draft as well. We will not be having the Super Draft live stream today. Definitely be sure to tune into that at 5 o'clock on Monday, though. And then, as I kind of mentioned before, I'll try to update a lot of these injuries and starting lineups if I'm able to do so throughout the day. Like I mentioned, going to be a little bit busier this afternoon, so I'll do as best that I can. If there's an updated core, I'll also try to get that out prior to lock at the very least. But with that being said, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL, helping you with your fantasy football teams. Going to be talking a little bit of NFL draft prospects as we get closer to the NFL draft. Probably going to talk about some of these head coaching hirings that have happened in the NFL so far. That'll be coming out later this week as well. So definitely a lot of interesting things coming in the very, very near future. And then with that being said, if you are a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily NBA DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.